Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to my first update of my project Level Up, which is an eyeshadow project that's been started by Sophie Alexander. I will link her video down below. And today we're gonna be, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how it went for me, what I've been able to achieve with my Level 1 palette, which has been my Solmane 2 palette by Odens, and maybe we'll even pick a new palette to work on. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name is Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows, and lately I've been really enjoying all of these projects. I do Project 20 uses, Project Ban, Project Level Up, Pendo's eyeshadows, and my own project, which is Palette Crush of the Month. So yeah, I'm doing it all. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And in case you don't know how Project Level Up works, it's essentially that you either use a random like color random wheel or something, or you pick yourself a palette, and based on the level you are at, you have to use the palette a certain amount of times and hit a certain amount of pan. So if you're at level 1, you have to use every single shade once and hit 1 pan, and then for level 2 you have to use every single shade twice and hit 2 pans, and so on and so forth. So it's a really fun project. I love it, and I love that it kind of forces you to actually use the palette, not just a shade there. And I handpicked my palette. I think I'm gonna do that for most of the levels, or all of the levels, up until level 5, because this is my first year trying this project, and I kind of want to like manipulate myself into liking it too much, so that when I'll actually start using these like random wheels and stuff, I'm already gonna be like hooked, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird, but I need to make it really easy for me at the beginning, so that later on I can always like look back and be like, but it was so easy for you, so you have to like continue. Because I would like to have more pans in my eyeshadows. So as I said, I've been working on this palette. I will pop up a picture of how it looked like. I wanted to say last month, but I actually introduced this project 10 days ago, and spoiler alert, I've already finished level 1. So I decided to just film this. I don't know when I'm posting this. It's probably not gonna be like full month after the introduction, but I'm gonna try to like, you know, leave some space between these two videos so that it doesn't feel too weird. But for me it's actually 10 days, because I introduced it on the 13th, and now it's 23rd of April. So yeah, it's only been 10 days, but I kind of knew this one is going to be really easy, and if I wanted to I could have easily done like level 2, level 3 with this. It wouldn't really be hard because a lot of these shades are very close to pan. But there are also a couple of shades I don't really reach for a lot, and I have to like find ways to reach for them in a way that I will enjoy it. But anyways, this is how it looks like. I'm also gonna pop up a actual photo so that you can compare them, but this is kind of the current situation. And in case you've studied the photos, you will know that the shade Dream has a pan. This one was super easy because I knew I have to hit a pan in the next couple of uses when I rolled it in. This one looked like it's close to pan for the past, I don't know, 15 uses. Like it, and honestly the dip is so huge. Like in the next 2 uses the pan is gonna be gigantic because there's such a huge dip, but it took forever to actually hit it. So I knew this one was gonna be very easy. A lot harder was to actually use all the shades. The last 2 shades that were like, that are my least favorite, which are these two, the shimmery red and shimmery orange, I used them today for this look, and I actually topped them with topper to make it like slightly better, because I didn't like how, well, they're not satin, but they don't really sparkle, which is what I like with shimmers, and they're kind of, they have weird undertone. They're like warm, but there's a bit of like kind of dirtiness to that. Sometimes a lot of like golds and these kind of bronzy shades and stuff, they kind of look like there's like rust in there. Like it just looks kind of eh. So I don't love them too much, and I'm gonna have to like figure out how to use them to actually like them, which is probably gonna be with using just boatload of other shimmers on top of that, because I don't really know if I'm gonna be able to use it on its own in a way that I'm gonna be happy with. But yeah, as I said, I hit a ban on this one. It took 2 uses, so I was correct with my assumption. And when it comes to the rest of the shades, I've used every shade at least once. The shades that I've used twice is this deep blue called Nebula, and that's because I used it once to just like for this project, and then yesterday I actually needed like a little bit darker blue, and this was on my table, so I just used that in this manner, and then also as I said, the shade Dream, then the shade Starry Sky right next to it. I've used that as a inner corner highlight. And yeah, I think that's everything. And one of my least favorite mattes, actually my least favorite matte in this palette, is the shade Neptune. So I actually mixed that with the shade Solar, and I created a brown for my brows. So I've used those two for my brows, even though I really love the shade Solar. But I wanted to have a use on the shade Neptune, and I usually like have to kind of force myself to use it, or use it as a liner, which is fine, but otherwise I just don't really like it all that much. So I used it on my brows and it was fine. So at least I know how I can use this and get a use on it. So when I rolled this palette in, it had 81 total uses in it, which is like the number of looks I've created with this palette. It doesn't matter if I used 1 shade or 4 shades. For one eye look, I've used this palette 81 times, and now we're at 86 uses. So in the last 10 days I was able to use it 5 times. And when I rolled it in, this palette weighed 150.56 grams. Sorry, I read that wrong. 150.96 uses. I was like, it doesn't make sense. And now it's at 150.74 uses. Yeah, grams, sorry. Which, I don't know if that's like a lot or not. I haven't been really tracking these things for a really long time, so I'm not completely sure. I mean, I used a lot of the black for eyeliner once, so maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Let me know if that's a lot. But also like these shades, especially the shade that is currently at the spot of Soft Cloud. It's actually a repressed shade from Glam Shop's Alter Ego palette, and I don't remember how it was called. I think it was like Volno or something. This one is very powdery. The shade itself like was very powdery, unlike the original shade, but I kind of used a lot of it on my eyes and some of it on my nails as well. So that one is quite powdery, so maybe that also changed the weight a lot. But that's for the level 1 palette. And then for level 2, I actually want to pick another Project Pen palette, and I decided to use my Shellwemakwup Liana palette. Since I'm gonna have to use or like hit pan on 2 shades, I decided to put a palette that doesn't really have that many shades, because I would really like to kind of work on my Pendos eyeshadows. So I need a little bit easier project for the level 2, and that's also why I decided to film this really early on, so that I have kind of like almost month and a half, well actually more than month and a half, to play with this. So I decided for the Liana palette by Shellwemakwup. I have one repressed shade here, and it's the shade In Flames. There was a shimmer shade, it was like a red, orange, yellow to green. I used that one up, so right now there's a shade from the Merry Christmas palette by Odens, and I think it was called New Leaf. So it's a 4-pan palette, and I don't think it should be that hard, considering the shade Trap Green has a huge dip, so if I'm gonna try, I'm gonna hit it. And I think the second easier shade should be the Silvery Snake, because it's a shimmer and I can technically, you know, and it's definitely a lot smoother and like creamier than the shade Full Bloom. So I think these two are gonna be my best bet for this. And since we're at level 2, I'm gonna have to use every single shade at least 2 times, which, I mean, there's only 4 shades, so technically with 2 looks I can definitely do that. And I'm gonna have to hit 2 pans, probably on these 2 shades. Right now I've used Liana 28 times, or like for 28 looks in total, including the previous shade that was here in this third slot. And when it comes to the current weight, it's 66.85 grams. So we'll see how far we'll get with this. But yeah, and also because it's a small palette and like it shouldn't be that hard to use it up. And I would like to get rid of it because like it's really beautiful. I love it. But it's just a very basic palette. Or what I was kind of thinking about, since I really like the packaging, I could repress blushes and highlighters here. You know, if I'm gonna be running out of some, I could just repress them here in a smaller pans and have it in like a small little palette that I can easily travel with, because it also has mirror. So I would just like to get rid of the eyeshadows because I don't actually like, it's green, so I obviously have a good use for that, but also I have greens in every single palette and I never really only wear greens. Like if I travel somewhere for like one day, then yes, obviously I would pick like one very small green palette, but otherwise if I'm gonna be somewhere longer than a day, I just need colors, so this wouldn't be enough anyways. So yeah, that's my level 2 palette, and I really hope I'm gonna be able to like level up soon, but I don't know if that's gonna happen because I haven't really reached for this palette in a really long time. But lately I've been like really good with my Pendos eyeshadows and I'm getting to the bottom of some of them. So maybe, you know, and also April is like a very green month for me. I usually wear green, so I could convince myself to like really dig into this. And I think from what I remember, these pants are very shallow. I mean, they only have 1 gram of product, right? Yeah, 1 gram. And they're quite big, or like it's a standard square size, but obviously when you distribute that, the pen itself is like very shallow. So I feel like this dip, like it should happen soon, probably. Hopefully, I mean, I'm really hoping for it. I'm gonna sort this palette for you the way that it looks currently for me, so that you know what we're working with as the as for the color story, and I hope I'm gonna be able to use it as a full-on color story at least 2 times, so that I actually like get the uses fairly quickly, and then I'm just gonna have to focus on the 2 shades. Okay, so this is how the I don't know if you see something, but this is the color story. Like it's really nice shades. I really do love the silver. It's just slightly boring. So let me know what you think about this palette. I know that most people randomly pick these palettes, and if I'm gonna be able to get to level 5 this year, I think I'm gonna start with the random wheel spinning things. I don't know how it's called. But yeah, for the first 5 levels, I just want to make it like doable for myself and figure out how it works and how I should go about this project to make it obviously like somewhat of easy for me. because if it's too hard, then I'm just not gonna enjoy it, and then I'm gonna leave this project and never come back to it. Um, so yeah, I just need to be strategic with it to actually make it last, because I would love to do this project for a very long time. So that's that. Let me know if you participate in this project, or if you know some good creators that do, because I've been trying to like extend my knowledge on this. But if you have your favorite creators, just mention them down below, and let me know which palettes you're currently working on. And also let me know how long do you think it's gonna take me to be able to move to level 3. But with that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow. Bye!